This gentleman got up to the microphone, he was an atheist, and he said, can you name anything else that is spaceless, timeless, and immaterial other than God? And I said, yes, the laws of logic.
My question has to do with the transcendental argument. When helping someone see that the Bible isn't just religious rhetoric, but that it does speak to what best correlates with reality. What verses come to mind to help bridge that?
Bridge the gap between what now?
When the kind of conclusions that the transcendental argument brings, that
when you say transcendental argument, you mean that there are laws of logic out there? Okay.
Yes. So bring that back to the scriptures.
Yeah.
The first one I was thinking about was Psalms 96:13, where it talks about he will judge according to his truth. Proverbs 21, there's no wisdom, knowledge, or counsel against the Lord.
Sure. There are.
But I don't want to rend something out of context.
No, you're fine.
I'm wanting to, please help.
Well, the transcendental argument doesn't rely on Scripture. That's why you don't need Scripture for it.
Right.
Okay? So let me just kind of state it. And it's probably best stated by what happened at University of Wisconsin at Madison a number of years ago. A gentleman got up to the microphone, and I had just given the evidence that God exists from what we call the cosmological argument, from the beginning of the universe. If the universe had a beginning, if space-time and matter had a beginning, whatever caused it must be beyond space-time and matter. In other words, the cause must be spaceless, timeless, and immaterial, at least.
Yes.
And so this gentleman got up to the microphone, he was an atheist, and he said, can you name anything else that is spaceless, timeless, and immaterial other than God? And I said, yes, the laws of logic. And he said, I argue then the laws of logic don't exist. And I said, so you're saying they do exist? And he said, no, I'm saying they don't. I said, no, you're saying they do exist. He said, no, I'm saying they don't. I said, no, you're saying they do exist. And he said, how am I saying they do exist? I said, because you're using them right now to contradict me. Yeah. Right? Like, for example, the law of non-contradiction says opposite ideas cannot be both true at the same time and in the same sense. For example, either God exists or he doesn't exist, but not both. You with me? Either you are pregnant or not pregnant, but not both. Right? It's one or the other. And so these laws exist independent of time, space, and matter, just like the laws of mathematics do. Right? You're not going to find the law of non-contradiction in a drawer somewhere or made of a material. It's immaterial. And I think, and other philosophers and theologians think as well, that this universe is the product of a mind. And the laws of logic are a product of a mind, just like the laws of mathematics are, as are the laws of morality. And those laws are laws that don't change because they're built into reality from the very nature of God. Now, you don't need the Bible to know that. This is known as natural revelation, or we might say God's works. God has two revelations, his works and his word. And you need his works to interpret the word. Because if you don't have the laws of logic, you can't even read the Bible. You can't even understand the Bible.
Well, we couldn't communicate.
We couldn't communicate.
Your own laws of logic, and I had mine.
Exactly. So thank you for that question, Ron. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
God bless you.